Hello, basketball fans. It's me, DC, here for Fantasy Basketball Analyzer to help you get ready for Week 16 of the NBA season by breaking down the schedule. Strength of schedule, streaming, all the things you need. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. We start by looking at pace and defensive efficiency. Let's bring it up. I like to always remind it the defensive efficiency is pulled from cleaning the glass because they cut out garbage time. And if I'm using their numbers, I want to plug them. Also, it's kind of what they ask. But here we go. At the top, the teams you want to attack the most. Houston, Sacramento, Charlotte, Detroit, Portland. I don't think any of that's really too shocking. Lakers, Orlando, Atlanta are just outside of that area. Still pretty high, but they're kind of in the upper half cluster. You can see that 106 kind of edges down into the others. They're not stand out like, say, Houston at a 109. Down at the bottom, teams you don't want to face. Cleveland, Golden State, Dallas, Miami. Then Phoenix and Boston's on the edge. New York, because their pace is slower, they're also not necessarily a great matchup, but not because they're playing well. And then Philly, the opposite way. Their defense is really good, but their pace isn't quite so slow compared to the rest of the league to be a detriment, despite the fact that, you don't really want to be going against Embiid down low or anything like that. We take these numbers and we go ahead and we apply it to the Week 16 schedule. All right, taking a look at Week 16. Utah is the only team with 2 games in your weekly lock leagues. They're pretty much unusable. Otherwise, kind of even split. We've got 12 teams with 3 games and 17 teams with 4 games. So you definitely rather a 4-game week in your weekly lock league, which is always true, but especially when it's not even, it means you're giving up a little more if you can't work in those people with 4 games. But you're going to play your best players. And if you're in a daily change league, you're going to just try and do this and stream and find what you can find. If I'm looking for someone with a good matchup, if you're just curious, Oklahoma City's schedule stood out to me. They get Portland again, and Sacramento. Those are all good. In the middle there's Dallas, which is a bad matchup because they've got like the number 2 defense in the league over the season. I only really mention this for like if you're looking for daily streaming matchups and stuff like that, which doesn't necessarily matter that they have a great week for that, but sometimes you can use that to split the difference if you're trying to figure out your waiver wire pickup. For next week, caution, Houston only has 2 games and Milwaukee only has 2 games. So I want to make an extra note of that because Milwaukee is one of the rare teams with a back-to-back Saturday and Sunday this week. They're one of only 2 teams, which could make them an interesting pickup against Portland and the Clippers. But no, there's only 2 games next week. So if you do it, you're doing it to try and win your week for Week 16. That's fine. But you're probably not going to get to hang on to whoever it is you picked up and carry them into next week because they only have 2 games. You'll end up making that cut. You'll probably want to look at someone else like Orlando, who we'll talk about later. I've started talking about the back-to-backs. We should switch over to that grid now. So if you're looking to make pickups to exploit back-to-back, for this week, for Week 16, it's pretty evenly spread out, right? We've got options on all the different days. Sometimes the way the pattern is, that doesn't work. But we have a pretty even keel amount of games at 8-7, 9-6, 9-6, 8 for total games per day. We don't have the like peaks and valleys like 13 and then 2, which means we end up with a little more back-to-back. So you're going to have more options on your waiver wire because it's not like you're all fighting for the one good pickup. If you're concerned about back-to-backs because of people resting and things like that, let's run through the usual suspects. Connolly, no back-to-back. Horford, no back-to-back. Embiid, no back-to-back. Also, he's still on this list, but he's been playing this season. I'm basing this off of years of seeing him and needing to rest it. But like on the 14th and 15th, he had a back-to-back. He played it. If you actually go through their schedule, they have not had many back-to-backs recently. I wonder if that league intentionally did something so that they didn't have a star resting all the time and he could play. I don't know that. This isn't supposed to be a negative conspiracy theory type thing. I'm just kind of something worth noting. Anyway, Embiid will still be on the list because he might rest, but he doesn't have any back-to-backs coming up, so we're not worried about it. Kyle Lowry, yes, he has a back-to-back. Now, he's been out for at least 5 games, depending on when you're watching this, for personal reasons, so this might not matter. But yes, he does have a back-to-back. Eric Gordon, no back-to-back. Spencer Dinwiddie, yes, he has a back-to-back. Curry, yes, he has a back-to-back, but it's not guaranteed that he rests because of that. And then Kyrie Irving, not a back-to-back concern, but since we're on this schedule, all 4 games are on the road. So if you've got Kyrie, you get to play him for all the games this week and enjoy because you don't have to worry about the headache as much as you do of in and out. Hopefully he plays all of them. He should. He's got a back-to-back, but he's plenty rested. Just as an interesting thing, and I don't think this is going to affect you setting your lineup, the Bulls actually have 2 back-to-backs in the same week. It doesn't happen a ton. If you look at it, they got Toronto, Indiana Thursday, Friday, and then Philly on Sunday is the start of a back-to-back. Orlando actually has this too, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. They have 2 sets of back-to-back, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Sunday. Toronto does as well. I didn't notice that until I started speaking about it. So lots of times the teams don't have that, but I think it's partly because some games got shuffled around in these later weeks because of the postponements and stuff. We're ending up with a little more of this than the league tries to have. Let's go ahead and talk about streaming. So I just mentioned Orlando. They make my list of teams I'm targeting to stream, but they're not my number one team. Number one team I've got here is Miami. They've got 3 games. Well, they've got 4 games for the week, 3 of them on streaming days. Toronto, San Antonio, Charlotte. So for the week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday are the low volume days when you can really stream. And they hit all 3 of those, which is great. So if you could pick up someone from Miami, like Kyle Lowry's out, maybe you want to go pick up Vincent if he's still out there. I mean, Lowry might be back for next week. I don't know, but Vincent could still be valuable either way. Anyway, they've got a good streaming schedule for that. Now, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, all these, they're 8 or 9 games. You might still get people in because, like I said, it doesn't peak as high as some of the weeks. So Miami's game on Monday against Boston, still only 8 games. There's a good chance you could work them in. So if you pick up some players from Miami, you might get to use them all week on the low volume days and on the medium days, and that could work out. My next favorite is Phoenix. They've only got 3 games, but all 3 are on the streaming day. So it's similar to Miami. They just don't have that bonus game on Monday to work it out. Brooklyn, Atlanta, Washington, you kind of like the matchups that they get too. Sacramento's got a good schedule in that they have it for Thursday and Saturday. They've got a 4-game week. 2 of them are on the streaming day. You don't love that they play Golden State, but you do like the OKC matchup for it. And then Orlando's similar. We touched on them already. They have 2 sets of back-to-backs. So 2 of their 4 games are on the streaming days. They get Chicago, Indiana, and then Memphis, Boston. So the Chicago and the Memphis matchups are actually pretty nice on those streaming days. Chicago, we think of as having good defense if you watch it, but they're really hurt and they're just dropping off over the last month. So I don't want you to think of it as a defense to fear for fantasy reasons, especially at the rim. They're not protecting the rim that great, and it's going to be hard because they don't have Caruso playing an undersized forward who is surprisingly effective at it. But beyond that, there's a bunch of ways to go after this. I didn't highlight every team that has 2 streaming days, but there's plenty. Detroit has them back-to-back. Golden State has them back-to-back. So there's definitely ways you can work it to try and get someone with a front-loaded schedule and then move to the later half. Say, Golden State, if you look at it, they've got 3 games for the week, but it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, you grab them for the first half of the week, and then you hop and try and find a team that's got 2 games at the end of the week. So the reason Orlando made that list, I already touched on it, they have the back-to-back Saturday, Sunday. So if you pick them up, they only have a 3-game week next week, but you pick them up, you get them right for the back-to-back. You can do a 5-game week if you grab someone from Golden State and then mix them in there with someone from Orlando. Or Milwaukee. They've got the same back-to-back. Milwaukee just has 1 less game the next week, so it's less likely to provide you value rolling into the next week. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to do it for the Week 16 preview. If you got other guys you're considering or trades that are coming up, there's a lot more comments about that lately, which makes sense. We're getting to the All-Star break. We're getting to the real NBA trade deadline. You're probably coming up on your trade deadlines. Let's start thinking about the playoffs. I'll be back this weekend to help you work the waiver wire, taking some of this info we have from the games, looking at availability, finding who you can pick up to help you go out and win your week. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps me grow the channel. If you want more videos like this, hit subscribe or even the little bell will give you alerts, and I'll be back soon with another video for you.